Kerkennah in the course of history. Here we start from the bridge. Pliny the Ancient said in his book Natural History that the Romans spent considerable amounts of money to join the bigger eastern island Kerkennah and the smaller western one Kerkennah, Melita today. The reasons for building this bridge became obvious today after the discovery of this Amazigh Punic tomb in Melita precisely, and which dates back to as far as 3 centuries before the Christ. This tomb, which is dug 3 meters deep into the earth in the shape of a room carved into the original rocks, leaves no doubt that Melita was the first in terms of a human presence on the island, where social development was achieved since the arrival of the Phoenicians and their mixing up with the Amazigh, the natives. The visitor will be surprised at the precision of the carving of the tomb in the original rocks, a room leading to another one, and a ceiling made of huge polished stones, and each corpse has a small carved window where his necessities are left. The old age of Kerkennah is not a secret among historians. The island already obtained recognition of the existence of agriculture and of olive and grapes growing from the father of historians, Herodot himself, since the 5th century before the Christ. The vineyards and the olive trees still make up the most beautiful and most artistic scenery when the blue of the sky mingles with the blue of the sea in the horizon. If we find no sign of what was mentioned by Herodot about Kerkennah producing gold threads in reference to the gold minerals, the gold that will still persist is in these vast beaches, stirred by smooth waves at times and violent ones at others, carrying to the island echoes and news of coastal and insular seamen. These beaches have fascinated Abizag to the point that he considered Kerkennah a forgotten paradise. When you draw near these beaches, the captivating sight of the countryside, made of spontaneous palm trees, scattered without any specific arrangement or order, confirms the saying of some artists that there is sometimes in anarchy a beauty which you won't get in what is most organized. It's true that the echo of Kerkennah will equally dwindle in Greek and Roman writings, but some remainings still scattered here and there, squashed by the Bugelba plough, are a reminder that Melita needs more attention to be paid to its rich archaeological heritage. Thus, we find in El Masra and El Menshia and in the farms of Ahmani rocks that are engraved to make the pillars of Roman houses and the remainings of some mosaic and sauna baths. Indeed, this is what was last discovered in the Ahmani farms, mosaic colored in yellow and red, in sharp shapes, surrounded by black and white threads. This mosaic is pointing towards the Ottoman Tower of Melita, as if to insist on following up its cultural action in spite of the damage time did to the island. But even if time has spoiled the fingerprints of the ancestors in Melita, what is left is enough to make proof that Kerkennah of the 5th century before the Christ is the island's bridge to the Mediterranean, although the shallow waters wouldn't favor the construction of a harbor to shelter commercial and warships. There is no doubt that the strategic factor and nothing else was behind turning away from Melita and choosing what is now called Hsar, because this hill overlooks the surrounding neighborhoods and the remote areas and allows to detect with naked eyes whatever crawls on earth or sails in the ocean. The Romans have built on the ruins of the Amazigh Berber civilization, which was fed by the Phoenician presence, their own world, deeply rooted in cities and urbanism. They created Cercina to be a sea center open to Tina and Hadramaut and Libda and Ruspina and even on farthest Greek and Roman lands. These texts agreed firmly with archaeological discoveries made by a team from the National Institute of Archaeology. These are reminders of the island's relationships with the Greek, Latin, and the Oriental Phoenician world. Cercina, on which the National Institute of Archaeology has removed the dust of many centuries gone, became a pearl that decorates the front of the Mediterranean, an emerald which emphasizes the glory of Tunisia and deepens its relationships with big civilizations. The Romans gave Kerkennah the utmost of its glory and prosperity. Cercina, on which the Romans bestowed the status of a free town, possesses all the elements of Roman towns: attached houses separated by lanes, rooms decorated with valuable mosaic, and places for worship. Let's leave Cercina and its tower aside. In Al-Qaraba and Al-Abbasiyya, we find the ruins of another Roman town with its walls, its foundations, and its mosaic, together with the furnace that emphasizes the Roman style of building and consolidates its strength. In Sharqi also and Kraton, there are caves which no doubt served as the hidings historians talked about and which the natives used to resort to whenever they are attacked from Sicily, Malta, or anywhere in the Christian world. The story of Islamic archaeology in Kerkennah starts with the Ottomans in Al-Hsar Tower, the pillars and the semicircular corners and the building style of simple banisters, in addition to narrow hidings and storerooms and side rooms, witness, despite the looting and neglect they have been through, the role of this tower in detecting enemies heading towards the island. This tower, which restoration work has disfigured to the point of erasing its original characteristics, still, despite neglect, stands high, and at its feet lies the town well at peace. Although scholars insist on its Ottoman character, Fawzi Mahfouz showed that it was built on the ruins of a Roman tower. These Turks built another monument with no less importance than the first one, although being less famous. In Melita, there is an Ottoman tower, also circular, with a helicoidal banister, which stands near the coast, about 12 meters high, with the same style as the other Islamic towers that are used for coastal guarding, defying the effect of centuries and deservingly asking for attention to be paid to its environment. The Arabs